Imagine for just a moment having the complete peace of mind that comes from knowing your life is entirely under your control, no matter what happens. What if I told you that the conversations most people avoid could be the key to transforming how you and your family experience every single day? Stay with me until the end of this video, because what we're about to share will change everything you thought you knew about end-of-life planning. You see, most people think end-of-life planning is about preparing for death, but here's the truth that might surprise you. It's actually about living more fully. It's about love, care, and creating clarity in a world full of uncertainty. Today, we're going to explore together why this matters more than you realize, how you can start this journey, and most importantly, how this can become the greatest final gift you'll ever give to those you love most. Let me share something with you that changed my entire perspective on this topic. A few years ago, I met Sarah, a vibrant 52-year-old teacher who thought she had all the time in the world. She was healthy, active, and completely focused on living in the moment. Then, one ordinary Tuesday morning, everything changed. A sudden medical emergency left her family scrambling, making decisions they weren't prepared for, trying to guess what she would have wanted. The emotional toll was devastating, not because they didn't love her, but because they simply didn't know. Sarah's story isn't unique. Every day, families across the world face similar situations, forced to make impossible decisions during their most vulnerable moments. But here's what's truly heartbreaking. It doesn't have to be this way. The anxiety, the uncertainty, the family conflicts that often arise during these difficult times can all be prevented with one simple act of love: proper planning. You know what's fascinating? Research shows that people who engage in end-of-life planning actually report higher levels of life satisfaction and reduced anxiety about the future. When you know everything is organized and your wishes are clearly documented, you can focus on what truly matters, living each day with purpose, joy, and genuine presence. It's like carrying an invisible safety net that allows you to take bigger risks, love more deeply, and pursue your dreams with greater confidence. But let's address the elephant in the room. Why do most people avoid this conversation? Fear of the unknown plays a huge role, but there's something deeper at work here. We've been conditioned to believe that thinking about end of life means dwelling on death, when in reality it's about celebrating life and ensuring our values continue beyond our physical presence. It's about writing the final chapter of our story with the same intention and care we bring to every other important decision. Think about it this way. You wouldn't take a cross-country road trip without a map, would you? You wouldn't build a house without blueprints. Yet many of us navigate through life without creating a clear plan for one of the most significant transitions we'll ever experience. End-of-life planning is your roadmap, your blueprint for ensuring that your journey concludes with dignity, peace, and the knowledge that your loved ones are cared for. One of the first areas we need to address is your medical preferences and legal directives. This isn't just about signing papers and filing them away. This is about having honest conversations with yourself and your family about what quality of life means to you. What kind of medical interventions would you want? What would you consider unacceptable? These aren't easy questions, but they're essential ones. Imagine your family during a medical crisis, trying to make decisions while dealing with fear, grief, and uncertainty. Now imagine the relief they would feel knowing they have clear guidance from you about your wishes. By documenting these decisions in advance, you're not just protecting your autonomy, you're giving your loved ones the incredible gift of confidence during one of the most difficult times they'll ever face. But medical directives are just the beginning. Let's talk about something equally important, but often overlooked: your financial landscape. How organized are your finances right now? Do your loved ones know where to find important documents? Do they understand your assets, debts, and financial obligations? Here's a sobering statistic. Families dealing with unclear financial situations after a loved one's passing often face months or even years of legal complications, not to mention the emotional strain of trying to piece together a financial puzzle during their grief. One of the greatest gifts you can give your family is financial clarity. This means creating a comprehensive inventory of your assets, accounts, debts, and important financial relationships. It means organizing your important documents in a way that makes sense to others. It means having conversations about your financial values and priorities, so your family understands not just what you have, but what matters most to you. But here's where many people get stuck. They think this process has to be complicated, expensive, or overwhelming. The truth is, you can start today with simple steps that will make a tremendous difference. Begin by having an honest conversation with yourself about your values and priorities. What kind of legacy do you want to leave? How do you want to be remembered? What matters most to you about how your final chapter unfolds? Then start documenting these thoughts and preferences. You don't need expensive legal documents to begin this process. A simple written record of your wishes, shared with trusted family members, can provide invaluable guidance. Of course, you'll eventually want to formalize these wishes with proper legal documents, but don't let the perfect become the enemy of the good. Start where you are with what you have. Let me tell you about James, a 67-year-old grandfather who initially resisted having these conversations with his family. He felt it was morbid, unnecessary, and frankly none of their business. But after attending a workshop on end-of-life planning, something shifted. He realized that his resistance wasn't protecting his family. It was potentially setting them up for confusion and conflict later. James decided to approach this differently. Instead of focusing on death, he framed it as a love letter to his family. He spent several weeks documenting not just his practical wishes, but his values, his hopes for his children and grandchildren, and his gratitude for the life he'd lived. The conversations that followed weren't easy, but they were transformative. His family felt closer, more connected, and incredibly grateful for his openness and foresight. This is what end-of-life planning really looks like when it's done with love and intention. It's not about morbid fascination with death. It's about celebrating life and ensuring that your story continues to inspire and guide those you love long after you're gone. It's about taking control of your narrative and refusing to leave your family guessing about what you would have wanted. Another crucial aspect that often gets overlooked is the emotional and spiritual dimension of end-of-life planning. What kind of memorial or celebration would you want? What values do you hope your family will carry forward? What wisdom would you want to pass down to future generations? These conversations can be some of the most meaningful you'll ever have with your loved ones. Consider creating what I like to call an ethical will, a document that captures your values, life lessons, and hopes for your family's future. This isn't a legal document. It's a love letter that transcends time. It's your opportunity to share the wisdom you've gained, the values that have guided you, and the dreams you have for those who will continue your legacy. The beauty of starting this process now is that it doesn't have to be a one-time conversation. End-of-life planning is an ongoing dialogue that evolves as your life changes. Your preferences at 40 might be different from your preferences at 70, and that's perfectly normal. The key is maintaining open communication and keeping your plans updated as your circumstances and values evolve. I want to address something important here. This process isn't just for older adults. Life is unpredictable, and having basic end-of-life directives is important for adults of all ages. Young parents, in particular, have unique considerations around guardianship for their children and ensuring their family's financial security. The peace of mind that comes from knowing these arrangements are in place is invaluable at any age. One of the most powerful aspects of end-of-life planning is how it can actually improve your relationships today. When you have honest conversations about values, priorities, and wishes, you often discover things about your loved ones that you never knew. These discussions can bring families closer together and create a deeper appreciation for the time you have together now. Think about the families you know who seem to have an unusual closeness and understanding. Often, these are families who have learned to have difficult conversations with grace and openness. End-of-life planning can be a catalyst for this kind of authentic connection, creating bonds that strengthen rather than strain under pressure. As we near the end of our time together, I want to leave you with this thought. End-of-life planning isn't about anticipating the inevitable. It's about ensuring that your life story concludes with the same dignity, love, and intentionality with which it was lived. It's about taking control of your narrative and refusing to leave your most important decisions to chance or to others who might not fully understand your values and preferences. The steps you take today to organize your wishes, document your preferences, and have these important conversations can become the foundation for your family's peace of mind for years to come. You have the power to transform what could be a time of confusion and conflict into a time of comfort and clarity for those you love most. So here's my challenge to you. Don't wait. Start today, even if it's just a single conversation or one documented preference. Begin this journey of love and preparation that will serve as a beacon of guidance for your family when they need it most. Remember, what you start now could become the most valuable gift you ever give to those you love. Thank you for joining us on this important journey today. If this message resonated with you, please share it with others who might benefit from this perspective on end-of-life planning. Together we can change the conversation around this crucial topic and help more families experience the peace and clarity that comes from proper preparation. Subscribe to Forever Wisdom for more content that helps you live with greater intention and leave a lasting legacy. Until next time, remember that planning for the end of life is really about living more fully today.